Hello again. So I am recording this back to back pretty much from our Monday and Tuesday instruction because I wanted to make sure that for those of you that wanted to move ahead with your assignment ahead of time, that you could get those directions right away in case you had any questions. So I will be posting all the videos for the week right ahead of time. So for those of you that are ambitious, you can tackle things right away. So we will let's use first period, for example. So again, the stream is clean, which is really great. Make sure you click on classwork to get to everything for the week. You will see everything will be the same. The only difference is that your attendance assignment for Wednesday and Thursday will be here. So for those of you that do the awards ahead of time, please do make sure, like if you turn the assignment in before the due date, please do make sure that you do go ahead and check in for Wednesday's class if you are first, second, or fourth period. Or if you're 6th, 7th, and 8th, make sure that you check in for Thursday's class, just so I know that you were here, you're good, you're still fine, things are happening. So do that for me. So let's go back to the draft awards and we will talk about those remaining handful of slides. I have so many tabs open. This is crazy. Okay, so looking at the task card, you should have watched the video for the draft project on slide 3. You should have read the directions for what you needed to do. And then up at this point, you should have decided how much of the criteria there is for the draft awards. And then you should have decided who qualify or who does not qualify for a draft award and why. And then who does qualify for a draft award and why. And then you should have stopped. So now we're moving on. This is the second part of the class. So here are the directions. You have to make your case for one case that qualifies for the award and one case that doesn't. It's up to you which case you choose. I recommend that you choose a case that you feel really strongly about, that you feel has plenty of evidence to show that yes, they qualify or no, they don't qualify, because that is going to be your strongest argument. So ultimately, your giraffe award is going to be based off of, or this particular assignment, grading wise, is going to be based off of the fact that you can make a really solid claim. So that's going to be like, this particular person deserves the giraffe award because, or this particular person does not deserve the giraffe award because. That is your claim. That is your stance. That is you taking a side. So you want to make a really strong statement of like, I think this person, but you don't say I think, but you'll say like, this person deserves the draft award. This person doesn't deserve it. So that's going to be a really strong claim. And then you need to make sure that this is kind of like CERs for what you would do in science class, or CERs that we've done in our class in the past. It's been a while, so I understand if you've kind of forgotten. Lots of things have happened since then. But if you decide that someone deserves the giraffe award, you need to tell me why. You have to give me really strong reasons for why they deserve it, and you need to give me evidence for that, and then explain how that evidence proves that they do deserve this thing. So let me finish up with the directions. So you're going to pick one case that you feel qualifies for the award, and then you're going to pick one case that you feel doesn't qualify, and then you're going to present the argument. So here, let's look at the qualifier slide. So on the next slide, which is this one, this is going to be blank, and this is for you to type out your little small argument, essentially. So on the next slide, it's going to say to present your findings for one person, one case that you feel totally qualifies for this award. So you want to make sure that you have a claim. So for example, I said case E qualifies for the giraffe award because, and then tell me why. Why do you think it qualifies? And then make sure that you explain your reasoning while also providing evidence from the foundation's criteria and how that does match up with what these individuals have done. So I gave you another little example. Like, one of the foundation's criteria is that the individual be brave, maybe. I don't know. And case A shows bravery by, or shows this because, and then tell me what case A did that showed that idea. So that's where you're providing evidence and reasoning all kind of together in this blended response. You're telling me this person matches up because the foundation requires, I don't know, X, Y, and Z. This is focusing on good deeds. So here, let's look at one of these examples. I'm basically giving you one of your answers. So in the second paragraph, it says, according to the foundation, a giraffe must be taking on significant personal risks, either physical, financial, or social. Okay, so whoever this giraffe is, they have to be taking a risk. So they're either physically risking themselves or they're financially risking themselves, like they're putting a lot of money on the line, or they're socially risking themselves. So in other words, maybe they're doing something that is unpopular and they might be considered like social outcasts in some sort of aspect, or it might have negative impacts on their social life, right? But but they're being an upstander rather than a bystander. So, like, if you want to think about looking at significant personal risks, nurses and doctors and grocery store workers and the United States Postal Service folks, like all these people are taking on significant personal risks, physical personal risks for their own health and well-being to help us continue functioning as a society during this pandemic. So, that's what that would look like, right? So, so one of the qualifiers is that a giraffe is taking on a significant personal risk. So let's go back to our giraffe award slides. So let's say, for example, I'm just using this as an example, that case E showed it is a doctor at Mercy Hospital and is helping our community in Bentonville as people come in with the coronavirus, right? With COVID-19. So let's say that we could say something like case E qualifies for the giraffe award because they have shown significant personal risk. Or you could say because, because they've shown significant personal risk. And then you're going to explain the reason in the evidence. So you could say one of the foundation's criteria is that the individual, quote, must be taking on significant personal risks, either physical, financial, or social, end quote. You could plug that in. And then you can say, and case A shows this because, as a doctor in Bentonville, they are putting their own physical health on the line to come into contact with other people who have transmitted COVID-19, and they're risking their own personal health as well as those that they come in contact with every day. So it might be their family members or whatever. And this is putting their own physical well-being at risk in order to save others. And that is a huge personal sacrifice. So you're giving me evidence from the foundation itself, but then you're also giving me evidence from that particular case to show this person did this thing and that shows this aspect, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's what you'll do for the qualifiers, and you'll type that response in this slide. And then when you get to the non-qualifiers, you're going to do the same thing, but you're looking for the people that did not qualify, that did not do what the foundation said. So it might be something like, I can't remember which cases were which, but let's say case A, we have a situation where there's somebody who's doing some good things, but they are not none of the good things that they're doing are actually the things that the foundation says like that you have to do. So in order to be a giraffe, you have to take on personal risk. You act out of caring. You might rock the boat, but you're doing it to make things better. Your activities are healing, so bringing people together. It's not divisive. It's not making people angry or separating or against each other. Giraffes are acting above and beyond the call of duty. People doing jobs they're trained and paid to do may be brave and caring, but they're only giraffes when they go beyond their job descriptions. This is key here. So let's talk about that. Let's say that for someone who doesn't qualify, I would say, so people are doing the jobs that they've trained in and are being paid to do, which, like in the nurses situation, I feel like this is an exception because we're in the middle of a pandemic and there are nurses that are putting extra hours in that don't need to put in extra hours. There are nurses that are, like I have some friends who have gone to New York to help in New York when they didn't have to. They volunteered to do that, which is really crazy. So those ladies for sure would 100% qualify as a giraffe because not only are they doing what they were trained to do, but then at the same time, they're also like relocating to a state that is in need and they didn't have to do that. And they're not getting paid much extra to do it. But if we're looking at people who are doing jobs like in our cases, we might have someone who is doing a job that they've been trained to do that is a brave and caring job, but they're not doing anything above and beyond their job description. So in that case, so you have to be careful and you have to read closely. So you might be able to say like case E does not qualify the giraffe award because though they're showing bravery by doing their job every day, like let's say maybe the person is a police officer and every day that they get in their police car and patrol the streets, they're showing bravery by doing that, right? Because who knows what could happen. But maybe in this particular situation, we don't see any above and beyond stuff. So while they're doing good things, they don't qualify for the award. So that's something that you would want to say, that Casey does not qualify for the giraffe award because though this person is really brave, they're just doing exactly what they've been trained to do and what they're paid to do, and they're not going above and beyond. And then make sure that, again, you present that evidence from the criteria. So you can say the foundation specifically says that giraffes go beyond their job descriptions. So they are brave and caring, but they're only giraffes when they go beyond their job descriptions. And in the situation of case E, this particular person was only doing, what their job requires them to do or what they're paid to do. They didn't necessarily go above and beyond. Okay, so make sure that you're very clear with your explanations. The thinking about grades too, guys, and how you're going to be scored on this, really. You, again, pick a case that you feel like for the qualifiers, pick a case that is really clearly, in theory, you want to pick one that qualifies in more than just one way. So if you go back and look at the draft project and look at the things that the drafts do, you want to try to find somebody that shows as many of these things as possible. If they only show one thing, that doesn't mean that they can't be a giraffe, but your argument, your case for why this person might qualify, you want to try to pick somebody who qualifies in a ton of areas. So there's no doubt in my mind that this person qualifies as a giraffe, and you want to make sure that you explain that really well. And then the same thing for the non-qualifier. You want to find somebody who just really doesn't qualify for much. Like when you look at the criteria example here, you're seeing that like, okay, this person doesn't really require for any of these things. Like they seem like a nice person, but aside from that, So that way you can give all of that evidence. You can show like these are all of the things that the foundation requires, and this person only met this one thing, or this person didn't meet any of these things, even though they're a nice person. You want to make sure that you're able to give plenty of evidence. If you are in a situation where you run out of space, you can copy and paste the slide if you need to. So you can Control C and then Control V, and it'll make another slide if you run out of room. Or you can right click and say duplicate slide, and it'll make another slide for you. So if you need more space, you can do that. You don't want to ramble on too much. Like, I'm not asking for, this isn't like some sort of, debate day that we're doing here. You're not writing, a dissertation of any kind, but you do want to make sure you're thorough. So, complete sentences, all of those things, do the best you can. And then you're going to get to the last slide and it's going to say, make sure you've completed everything. And you're going to say, yeah, I did all of that. So make sure you did. Slide 11 and 13 are the most important, because you're basically, slide 5, 6, and 7 is all the prep work to prepare you to get organized. And then slide 11 and slide 13 are where like you're really showcasing what you understand about argument, making sure you have a solid claim and that you're explaining logically all of these things. So you want to make sure you do that. Okay. So when you're finished with this, if you are an 8A person, so first period, second period, and fourth period, this assignment is due Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So make sure you get it in by then. And then if you are 6th period, 7th period, or 8th period, yours is going to be due on Friday at 8 o'clock, since you start a day later than everybody else. Okay. So if you have any questions, I understand that like this is kind of tricky when I'm not there and I can't fully walk you through this or answer questions. So if you have questions about any of the different cases, or what a certain line means, or what did they mean when they said this, or, well, I'm not quite sure, you're more than welcome to pop into the Hangout if you want, which is linked in the We Get a Glance slides. So you can pop into the little chat link and we can chat through some of those things. Or if you just want to email me, that's fine too. If there are lots of questions that people are having, I might start like a Google Doc with a Q&A part. So you can add your questions in there as we go through things maybe. So that might be helpful. Anyway. Yeah. So if you have, just email me or go to the chat link if you have some very clear, obvious questions. And like I said, if I see a lot of the same questions popping up, I'll start a Q&A document and post that. I'll link it in with the draft words assignment if that happens. So that way some of your common answers can get answered. So we'll do that. And then friendly reminder, if you have anything that needs regraded, please submit it to the form. I grade them in the order that they come in. And I only grade during the week, during normal school hours. After that, I kind of shut school down because I need my own time for myself away from school, just like you guys do. So I don't grade over the weekend, and I don't grade in the evenings unless it is absolutely imperative that I do. But I also have to take care of myself. So thank you for understanding. Okay, I think that's it. If you've got any questions, you know my email. I will maybe see you guys on Friday during our Google Meet. Bye.